Hello, we're back again. It's Wednesday, hump day, and today I have a Q&A for you from one of the Can-Do people, and I will read this to you in a minute because it's quite long, but it's really relevant for lots and lots of people. Now, I know yesterday I brought along some props, so today I haven't got any props. I've only got my piece of paper with my question on it, but that's all right. I got a bit put off using props a little while ago when I went to the ISIS conference, and it's not the sort of ISIS you think, it's the International Society for Equitation Science. And I was presenting a couple of papers at their conference, but the night before I was to present my paper, an Italian fellow was presenting something, and his was all about the use of whips and how if you use negative reinforcement incorrectly, then it becomes punishment and all of this sort of thing. It's very interesting. But he brought along a prop, and his prop was the whip. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea, isn't it, to have props, because that was really good. And being an Italian gentleman, he could get away with actually standing on stage with a whip. And so my talk, of course, the next day, I thought, oh, I need a prop. But my talk, the title was, It's All About the Sex. So I decided against props, and the whole idea put me off a little bit. So today I feel quite safe with my piece of paper. So the question comes from somebody in the Can-Do Equine training, and basically she's asking what to do about her horse that she mostly trail rides on. But I'm just going to read it to you because it's quite long, and I think some of you will be familiar with some aspects and not others, but different aspects of this question will be relevant to different people. So she writes, suggestions for the horse that freezes on the trail ride when he sees something in the distance. It can be when we're on our own or with a group of horses. He tends to look out in this direction when he's in the herd also. So what she's saying is it's almost like he's trying to protect me in the herd. So she feels that he's trying to protect her. She said he's pretty calm most of the time and not much phases him. And she gives me an example, which is great. She rode out on Saturday morning down the dirt road, about 1 kilometre. At the end of the road, there's two ladies standing and talking. About 150 metres out, my horse turned into a giraffe, which we've all seen, haven't we? And, and froze. And then she says I spent about 10 minutes talking to him, stroking his neck, letting him know things are okay. And until then she walked him a little bit closer. Once we were close enough that he could hear them talking and the dog started barking, thanks very much, he began to relax. So this is a pretty common situation. 10 minutes, we're going to talk about the 10 minutes she spent stroking him later, but let's just concentrate on his behaviour at first. And she says he does this quite a lot. He does it in the paddock, but she also says right at the end here, she says he's a retired pacer. I'm not sure if that's relevant or not, but anyway, it might be. So what did I say to her? Well, I think it is a terribly common thing, and we hear this mostly with people that trail ride, because that's where we see all the scary stuff, isn't it? You know, you don't see ladies and dogs chatting away in the arena, so somehow we're a lot safer in the arena. I think there's another reason for that, is that we tend to ride our horses rather differently in the arena than we do on the trail ride. So in the arena, we have them in frame, and they're soft, and they're round, and they're in our bubble of communication. When on the trail ride, we're on the phone, and we're riding the buckle, and the horse is checking everything out. I remember in England, I had somebody come to me, and she said, she actually rang me on a Sunday night, and she said, I'm going to take this horse to the knackers tomorrow unless you take it on. I said, that's sort of emotional blackmail, but anyway, apart from that, tell me about it. And she said, well, every time I take it to a dressage competition, it bucks me off. As soon as we canter, it bucks me off. I said, oh, okay, well, tell me about the horse itself. And she said, oh, well, you know, it's really nice. We trail ride all the time, and you know what they're like in England. They all ride along these narrow country lanes. They all ride on the road. It's terribly dangerous, but anyway, they love it. And she said, he's a real Stickybeak. She said he's always looking at everything, and he trots off down the road, and then he goes, oh, look, the Joneses have got a new driveway, and all of us, so loves it. She loves it. I'm like, do you think he loves it? Or do you think he's terrified? She thought, oh, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it was really interesting. He did come to me on Monday because obviously I'm not going to say goodbye, have fun at the knackers. So he came to me on Monday, and all I did was teach his horse give to the bit. So I put him in a frame, and I had him round, I had him listening, he lifted his back up, he was soft, and I was getting him to do things like move your shoulders, do this, do that, do that. And he was being rewarded for doing the things I asked him to do. So I gave him a job, basically. And she came a couple of days later and she goes, oh, I don't know, what is that? Couldn't believe it, thought it was a different horse. And I think we do this quite often. We think that trail riding's easier. And we look at riding in the arena and having a horse in a frame, and we say, oh, I don't need that because it's dressage-y. I don't do dressage, I don't need that. I don't need that frame. But give to the bit and you get the frame, that's a bonus, but it's not about the frame. It's about relaxation, and it's about getting the horse into the engagement zone. The problem with this girl's horse is that it wasn't in the engagement zone. So the horse is being really vigilant because it's concerned about everything else around it. So it is under stimulus control, the scientists will tell you, but not of the rider, of the environment. Yeah. So what we need to do is build that bubble that we have that encompasses the horse and the rider. And they've got this bubble of communication, and that starts with give to the bit. What that does is it gives the horse a job. So if you're out on the trail, the same as if you're in the arena, you really want to be controlling the horse's feet all the time until your horse, of course, gets to be really experienced and you can go off trail riding on the buckle, without your bridle, whatever you like. But while your horse is still learning and your horse isn't that experienced, then it's really important that you have somewhere where you could say, hey, come back into the bubble and let's talk and let me move your feet. And then we'll both understand each other. We're on the same page. We're doing the same thing. So let's go back to our rider who's walking down the road. The horse raises its head, is looking at something, is terrified. And, you can feel it. You feel the heartbeat under the saddle. Yeah, okay. So what could she have done? Well, what she needed to do was to start communicating with the horse, because simply patting the horse and praising the horse, gently talking to the horse is only going to reinforce that behavior, because that's positive reinforcement. Stroking the horse and, gentle verbal praise is positive reinforcement. So what you're doing is you're reinforcing a behavior, which means that behavior is going to happen more often in the future. So if you spend 10 minutes, as this person said they did, 10 minutes reinforcing the stand and freeze behavior, then it's more likely to happen in the future. Actually, if you spend 1 minute reinforcing the behavior, it's more likely to happen in the future. That's what reinforcement means. So don't do that. Don't punish the behavior either. Really you want to ignore the behavior and you want to say, oh, you've popped out of my bubble of communication. Let's pop you back in. So you need to give the horse something to do. Now, I have found that give to the bit, that simple exercise, give to the bit, is the quickest and easiest way for me to get my horse back into the engagement zone. And that's that place where it's nice and easy and relaxed. And that's the first thing, relaxed, for the horse to learn and stay relaxed and focused on the lesson I'm teaching. If you think about the bubble, it's quite a good analogy, because I picture myself actually when I ride having this bubble of communication. And so once I get that in a safe place, and of course it's always safer and easier to ride in a smaller environment. So the round pen is easier than the arena. The arena is easier than the paddock. The paddock is easier than the world. So start small and build up slowly. But I build that bubble in the round pen the first time I start to ride the horse. And then I take it with me, because it's good and strong by then. It's a really good engagement zone. I know how to play with the horse's emotions. I can take that bubble with me to the arena, and then to the paddock, and then to the big world. One of the good sort of analogies that I always think of when I'm riding, I've got sitting inside this bubble, is when the horse does that. So here is its ears, and it goes whoop. I'm looking at something, it bursts my bubble. So its attention goes up here and it looks at something and the bubble bursts. And you can see it and you can feel it and you go, right, okay, now we need to get you round and soft and relaxed and back thinking and talking to me. Okay. So that was about it for today's question. It's all about getting the horse into the engagement zone. If you haven't yet signed up for my free 100-day email series, the link is above. Please do, because it's good and it invites you all the time to come and tell me what you think. I really want to hear what you think. I want to engage in some really good dialogue with you. So that series is there, arrives in your inbox every morning. There's another link up there for you, which is a link to some free training. It's 4 training videos, and you can just sign up there, and they will also arrive in your inbox in the next 4 days. Actually, you can watch the first one immediately. So I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Throwback Thursday. Thanks. Bye.